It sounds to me that what you described was you're going to be at the top of the happiest multi-level marketing campaign that's ever been run. That's it. This is the happiness pyramid scheme, and you're at the very top and elevating the world's consciousness through that. Before we jump in, I just want to just ask, how are you doing in the world today, in this craziness of this world reality that we live in?
You know, I'm doing terrific. So happy and healthy, and my family's happy and healthy, and my business is happy and healthy. And, you know, I really look within to see outside of me what I want and do my best to empower other people. So 2020 was the best year of my life, and I intend to make 2021 the best year of other people's lives and even better than mine was.
Wow, that is such a positive outlook on everything that's taking place, and it really, it really resonates deeply with me. I know for me, I spent this whole last year deeply involved in my book, which I don't know if it made it out to you yet, but really, really excited about it. And so where there's darkness, there's opportunity, and there's a place to grab onto a light. Even if you can't see it, there's sometimes a deeper light in the darkness that can be expressed when you come out the other side. So I totally resonate with what you're saying there. I wanted to talk to you about the fact that, you know, you're a tremendously accomplished individual. You were the co-founder of Sports One Marketing. You served as the CEO of Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency. I think you're doing a new show now. There's a show you're doing, 2-Minute Drill.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty awesome. Like, you've got some really amazing things going on in your life. And when asked about what you're looking to do in the world, your goal is, and correct me if I'm wrong or if there's a way you phrase it, but to make 1 billion people happier. Is that the vision?
Empower over, don't limit me, over 1 billion people to be happy, because happy people are abundant people. Happy people live in a world of more than enough, not in a world of just enough or not enough. And happy people aren't victims. Happy people don't attack other people. Happy people have limited judgments and conditions that they put upon others. And happy people have limited health issues. And it's, you know, just an extraordinary power. Happy people mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially do better. Happy people have a stronger immune system, so it protects them against this terrible virus that's plaguing the earth right now. So I have found a simple solution called happiness. The best thing about it, it's the most viral of all things on earth. It's the only thing that can be spread by witnessing it. So happiness can be spread simply by witnessing it. And with the advent of these great platforms like Zoom and video and Instagram, LinkedIn and Facebook, et cetera, we have more opportunity to allow people to witness happiness and to share it with others.
And that's really like the law of resonance, right? Meaning, like, I'm feeling it now, just looking at you, seeing the smile on your face, hearing the vibration in your voice. I'm feeling it more right now, right? This is the opportunity that you're talking about.
Absolutely. And that frequency is so important. And there's even new platforms like Clubhouse that make things more accessible and the voice more accessible to carry that frequency and carry that vibration that makes you feel a certain way.
Like, how did that happen in your life? Like, what's the driving force behind the fact that you're now empowered with this vision of, I'm going to make 1 billion plus human beings happier and make them be happy people? Where does that come from? I mean, something, obviously there must be some pivotal moments in your life that has driven you to this place.
Yeah, you know, I've always been in search, especially the last 15 years, of who I am and taking stock in my values: gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. But years ago, my 12-year-old daughter, who's now turning 17, she had a friend who committed suicide, and she was 12. And it had a huge impact on me because I could understand teenagers, what they go through and how they could become depressed and suicidal. I can understand the drugs and the alcohol and the depression and the PTSD and the CTE and all the things that have been around me for years. But this was shocking to me. And when I started to do research, the numbers of kids under 12 and the number of people that came from demographic areas and socioeconomic backgrounds. And then when I saw the rising numbers worldwide and saw the fastest growing cause of death in some places, in some ages, in some races, to be suicide. I said, whoa, we have a happiness problem. And I started to research happiness. I started to look at dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin and endorphins. I started looking at exercise and sleep. And one day, I get choked up thinking about it. Walking the beach, something came through me that I could teach people, that that I had a platform to inspire people to simply be happy, two people at a time, kind of like Noah. In my heart, I said, you know, whether it takes my whole lifetime, if I could just find two people like you, Moshe, that every year would find two people and they would find two people and they would find two people, that, you know, in just 20 years before I would be 70 years old, 2 million people every year would make 2 million people happy. And the next year, 4 million people would make 4 million. And by the time I left this earth, I may or should be able to accomplish over 1 billion people being happy. And what would that collective consciousness be in the world, to have a world full of abundant, happy people? And remember, you started talking about darkness. One particle of light, physically proven, overcomes 1 million particles of darkness. One little menorah can light an entire room, right? It's incredible. And so I decided that I'm not going to burn my own candle anymore, that I was going to share my light so that my candles stopped burning, and I'd light more and more candles and they would light more and more candles. And not only would we create more light, but our candles would stop burning, because when you tip your candle to light another candle, our candles stop burning. And I'd spent a lot of years of my life burning my own candle with an extraordinary light that I'd been blessed with. And now I share that light and liberate others to share theirs.
You're a hero. It sounds to me that what you described was you're going to be at the top of the happiest multi-level marketing campaign that's ever been run. That's it. This is the happiness pyramid scheme, and you're at the very top and elevating the world's consciousness through that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, you know, the hardest thing is,
Yeah.
you know, my own family. I have a rabbi as a brother, went to Harvard, and I have, you know, a very influential family. And even with their support, people laugh at you, scoff at you, make fun of you, you know, asking you questions like, who do you think you are? And, you know, in some biblical sense, I could almost feel when I started this journey what some of the great heroes that I had read about faced, with disbelief and discernment of that doubt, and that the test of my own ability to look within myself and say, you know what, what's the worst thing that could happen? Yeah, maybe they think I think I'm Tony Robbins, or maybe they think I think I'm Jesus Christ or somebody else, or Moses. I don't. In fact, radical humility is truly the inspiration I have, that all I need to do is keep finding two people at a time, like Moshe and Jake and Andrew or whoever else, teaching them gratitude and forgiveness and account, or reminding them or recollecting them or whatever else, reconciling them with gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, to live with inspiration, to be connected without interference of ego and doubt and fear. And it's really no great feat, just a concentrated focus of consistent behavior that I think can propel not only me, but the rest of the world to elevate others, to elevate ourselves.
I mean, tremendous and courageous. And I don't think you need to worry about what anybody thinks of you. Obviously, you're so in your body. I can sense that you're like so present with your life that none of the opinions and thoughts of others even go in. Right? You're just a man on a mission, 2x2, like Noah, 2x2, and hitting all the right chords, you know, on the scale. And that's the beautiful music that I think that's the godly music that we're here to play. We're all here to take a part in this major symphony that's happening, and it doesn't work with just a piano or just a violin or just a trombone. You need everybody's part, and everybody's got that sound. So you're playing those notes, and it's a pleasure to experience that with you, even just in this moment.
I appreciate that, and still looking for your help and everyone else's that is listening to think about what we talk about and think about the power that they hold within themselves. And it took me years and years to not care what other people thought. You know, I really was a pleaser. I spent a lot of my life buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't even like, and to seek the approval of others and to compare myself to others, which only stole my joy and stole and really, you know, stole my energy, was soul sucking, in fact. And once I realized that, yes, no matter what I do, that it's a good thing that some people will be propelled by what I'm saying, that it doesn't resonate with them because I don't want them in my life, right? I'm looking for over 1 billion people, and we're going to create our own collective consciousness. And if you don't like me for who I am, God bless you. I understand, but don't love me for who I'm not, because I got tired of that.
You know, speaking about gratitude and embracing the world for what it is, what do you tell people who are going through that dark time? They're going through, you know, hardships, you know, especially now. You look around, you know, COVID has affected millions of people economically. You know, it's really affected the whole world, right? So you've got billions of people on the planet who feel somewhat displaced. Their lives are different than they were before, and they want to feel happy. They want to feel grateful, right? What do you tell those people to get through that darkness, to find that one molecular piece of light? How you describe, how do we turn on that little bit of light when a person is feeling that deep darkness?
Well, there's two things. Both I was taught before I was 3 years old. The first is gratitude, which you mentioned. I simply say thank you before you go to bed, and when you wake up, 30 straight days, I promise your life will change. You will learn to find and seek the light, the love, and the lessons that exist in everything, to find that molecular tiny bit of light in everything. You'll see pain not as a stop sign, but a turn signal telling you to get into a better place, a better position. And the second one, beyond gratitude, is asking. And there's two things that we need to ask. One is we need to ask for help. So if you're severely depressed or anxious and have needs of the ego that are really contributing to a diminishing effect in your life, go seek help. Find someone that sits in the situation that you want to be in. The easiest way to get to where we want to be is to find someone that's already there and ask them for directions. Now, the secret sauce within the context, the connectivity and the reconciliation that exists between gratitude and asking for help, which is radical humility, which I believe is the most humble state, is when we ask for help. To be totally invulnerable by being completely vulnerable, to me, is the ability to ask how we can be of service or value to others. So if you're depressed or anxious and feeling lonely and separate, go do a good deed, do a mitzvah. This is proven. And if you can combine gratitude with asking for help and you yourself being of service or value in any way with the capabilities that you have, everyone has something to give. I promise you, the return, the regeneration, the re-engineering of your life, not only will you be happy where you're at, not only will you have the motivation and inspiration to angle towards what you want, but most importantly, it will give you the faith that you're going to end up somewhere better. And that's what we all need right now,
Right.
is the 3-step process, especially the faith that we're going to end up somewhere better than we are today.
Wow, and faith is really, it's such a powerful, energetic force. You know, when you're in that deeply hopeful, deeply faithful state where you can hold on to something. It's moving. I find in my life, it's really that it's surrender. You know, surrender is not about giving up, but about giving over that need to be controlling in whatever situation that we're in. And you know, in Hasidus, it's called bittul. Bittul means like to negate, right? So you can get that, you can take it the wrong way and say like, oh, I have to negate myself. But it's not about negating yourself, but negating the ego, right? That the part of you that's covering up, that's the fear, that's making you think that things have to go a certain way and you have to be in charge, right? And when you can just let go and surrender and hold on to, you know, the way I see it, a higher power, an infinite force that's working with us and guiding us to get to this higher consciousness. That's really when the magic starts to happen.
And you're singing my song, Moshe. That's exactly the most difficult thing to teach, that and the blend of allowance with persistence that people can't reconcile in their own strategy. How can I be ferocious, but yet be a Judah Buddha? Allow things to happen, to negate the ego, to clear the interference, voids, shortages, and obstacles that the ego causes through its need, not only the primal needs of the ego that Freud talks so eloquently about, but even more importantly, the secondary needs of the ego, the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, greedy, guilty, resentful, the things that we waste all of our time, emotion, and money on, and relationships. Instead, that process of negating all of that from our lives, or at least just spending minutes and moments there every day. I tell people all the time, they say, how is it you're so full of light, so motivated, so inspired, so happy all the time? I said, it's just, I only spend minutes and moments where I used to spend weeks, days, and months, and even years. I've learned to identify when I'm in ego-based consciousness. I then don't resist it. I negate it by stopping. Not going over, under, around it, or through it, but simply the key to breathe and to find my center, to find my neutrality, and allow what I'm already connected to, this great source of energy, light, and love that I know I'm connected to come through me and give my life away to others.
David, you are such a light. I love it. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have this conversation with you. You reminded me, my father, when we were younger, right now, we're many, many years from my childhood, but when I was younger, my father would get very angry and didn't know how to deal with kids. He came from a small family, like the opposite. My wife is one of 11. So I think you came from a bigger family also, right? So
Yes.
when you have more siblings, so things get divided differently. So my father didn't really know how to deal with kids, and and he gives me permission to speak about this. So he would get angry, and it would be very, very hard for him. And then one day he stopped, and he was a kind of a different person. You know what I mean? And I asked him a few years ago. I said, "What changed? How were you able to stop?" And he said, for years I was trying to figure out how to stop being, anger driven and how to really control myself until one day somebody just looked at me, and I had this conversation with him, and I asked him, how do I stop? And he said, you just stop. Meaning don't try to create a story around it. Don't go under and above and through and out. Meaning you just have to make a decision of, you unplug yourself from the ego. You just have to stop the narrative that you've been saying all this time, and take a step back. So you have to finesse what you're saying, this idea of stop. It's not like, that's it, snap your fingers and it's done. But that's really the secret, to really to undo that. I want to ask, we have one last minute here. Just where can people find you if we're sending people to find what you're up to these days? I know you do a free training, right? You're still doing free trainings?
Yeah, for over 20 years.
Unbelievable.
Varied from ultimate ego training, as we speak about today, the gratitude training, to very pragmatic, 5 to Thrive sales training. And this week is what I call abundant negotiation training. So I'm known as one of the world's greatest negotiators in the sports world and business world. And I've learned to negotiate from a point of abundance. And I want to teach people that. And every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, I do free trainings. You can reach out directly, david@dmeltzer.com. And those trainings are also recorded. It's my #1 downloaded. We've done over 600 episodes of The Playbook, which is my podcast.
Yeah.
Celebrities, athletes, entertainers, world famous people, and entrepreneurs, billionaires, and millionaires. But the most downloaded of all of those isn't Cameron Diaz or Dan Aykroyd or Ray Lewis. It's actually the humble trainings that we do on Friday. That's what people want to learn. And as much as people enjoy those playbooks to success with those famous people, they also enjoy the replays, which you can search the playbook on Spotify. We have a featured playlist there. Entrepreneur Magazine, Entrepreneur Media features it. In every platform it's available. So if you please reach out, david@dmeltzer.com. Please try out for my TV show. We give $50,000 of cash and prizes. It's on Bloomberg TV. It's launching on Amazon. It's launching in India. So you can do it from anywhere in the world, but I want everyone to participate in the abundant $50,000 of cash and prizes and the lessons that are learned and how to share a vision so that we all can connect and be more happy together.
Wow. David, thank you so much. That was such a pleasure. I'm going to be signing up also. If you want to have me on the show, we'll send an email.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you for having me and congratulations on your show. I look forward to being of service however I can. It's great to see a symbiotic soul. I know you're one of the 1,000, so thank you.
My pleasure. Take care, David.
Take care. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Andrew.